Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I am well. I'm blessed and
Highly favored.
highly favored, yes.
I have so much to talk to you about. Where do I start? Where do I start with you? I start with you at where I start often with you is our BET Cipher,
Okay.
right? I focused there. I think that was '09. Somewhere in that area.
Mm-hmm.
It was me, it was you, it was Wale, it was a few people there. And word was around. Nicki is in this cipher. Yeah. Word was around.
Okay.
Nicki coming, she spit, she rap, you better have your bars right. It was all of
No,
that.
they.
I'm telling you,
okay.
what Webb was saying back then. He sends his love, of course.
Okay.
And then I had my little camera. And I was filming. We did some filming afterward. I handed you the cigarette. But when I watch it today, to see your evolution and to see my evolution with the Queen's roots and how it just all intermingles, it's like beautiful. And then I go to your Instagram and you post '08 Nicki and 2022 Nicki.
Isn't that crazy? Out of nowhere, I just happened to post that, yeah.
But what does that Nicki say to that Nicki?
I wish that then I would have appreciated more things. I wish I would have appreciated myself more, my look more, that raw talent that wasn't so jaded and tainted with the ridicule from other people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Even that early.
well, yeah, that early, I was still in that good place where artists are, where we are when we just start getting a little bit known, and we're thinking, oh, I'm just about to do what I love and make people happy, and then before all of the other stuff comes in, you know what I'm saying? For label stuff, or you know, and remember, social media was just beginning when I started, so I was like everybody. I was a lot of people's guinea pig. I was one of the first people to be shitted on the internet, on social media, like non-fucking stop. Every day I would go on, and it was some new story, made up story, or bad picture, or it wasn't acceptable to have surgery at all or anything. Even though, and at that time I had never had surgery. I had ass shots, which till this day I realize, even what I did, and even with me not consulting with anyone to do something like that, how insane that was. Like, it's not that you go to a doctor, a professional person. No, it's some random person
Yeah, shorty in the Bronx.
comes in. I was in
Queens.
Atlanta at the time. And actually what happened was I kept on being around Wayne and them. And at that time, Wayne, he always talking about big booties and all. Wayne would have like a new chick in the studio every session. So it was always a new big booty.
Creative support. That's what I like to call it.
A new big booty there.
A muse.
Right. Actually, yes.
Muse.
Actually, it was. They were his muses.
You like to look to the side and see something with some ass sitting there while
That's
you're trying to
right.
come up with a line.
That's right. And yes, I want to make sure I don't downplay those women, because they have a big part in the journey of a rapper's career. You know what I'm saying? Because when they are out there, they would give him that fuel. Them smiling, them listening. He would do stuff and then just see organically what they would respond
Of
to,
course.
right? All of those things. So they were his muses, but I just was around them all the time, and I was like sister. I was like the little sister with Wayne and Mac and all these boys, J Mills and Gutta and all of them, and all I would hear them talking about is big butts. And I didn't feel complete or good enough, good as them, as those girls, because I'm like, oh my God, this is what you're supposed to look like in the rap culture, and I don't look like that. And now
But that was you telling yourself that and not anyone else saying that to you.
No, yeah, they never told me that. Well, no, I'm lying. I think Wayne, and I think they said stuff sometimes jokingly.
Jokingly.
But to a young girl or up and coming rapper or anything like that, when it's from someone like Lil Wayne, it matters, you know, like, so even if they're joking, they don't know that the person that is there in that room with them is not finding it funny. They're thinking that, and this now that I'm older, I understand. Sometimes you'll say something in front of someone and you're thinking that they know that they're pretty, or they know that they're smart, or they know that they're talented or whatever. You're thinking that this is what this person thinks about themselves, you know? So you'll say certain things around them or to them. But a lot of times you don't know how insecure a person is or what their insecurities are. So when you say certain things, if around women especially, you can never take them back. You know what I'm saying? So where they might have been playing with me, probably thinking, oh, she's confident, she's good in her own skin, da 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 da. They don't know probably that I always had that insecurity. So they're just joking. They didn't mean any harm, but it wasn't a joke to me. You know, I was laughing, but I didn't find it funny.
And that was the experience then. I ask because today it almost seems like there is a female rapper starter kit.
Thank you.
That you have to have before you come in.
Absolutely.
I try to stay out of women's business, but
it's rappers' business.
And that's the thing. So what do you think about even the evolution of that? From it being a joking thing to Wayne saying it to you to now would be like, all right, we can't even, it don't matter that you can spit. It don't matter that you look great, you feel great. For us to back you, you gotta.
You know what it is, Joe? I don't think it's the men really anymore, especially. I think it's the women. I think it's the girls, what their perception of a female rapper is. And they think this is what I have to look like. You know, like I remember I would never see any female rapper wearing pink hair. Pink hair became a part of that starter kit. Every female rapper will put on a pink wig at some point. And I remember that was just the Nicki Minaj thing. That's why when I said pink wig, thick ass, it was, oh, that's a iconic Nicki Minaj line because that's what she wears. Now it's everybody, pink wig, thick ass, right?
Do you hold yourself accountable for any of it?
Yes. And I used to say, well, because I was one of the first people saying, oh, I'm not these people's parents. But now I get it. I look at it from a different perspective now because superstars inadvertently become role models, no matter what. You can be the weirdest druggie in the world. If they like your music, they're listening to it over and over and over. It's programming. And they might try some of those things they hear you talk about. I remember I had a conversation with Future one time in the studio. And he said something that I will never forget. And he laughed while he said it. He was like, yeah, you know, people be thinking I do so many, like people be thinking I'm really doing a lot of drugs because I rap about it all the time. But they don't even be knowing I'm a lightweight. I said, in my head. Because there are a lot of people that are huge Future fans, for instance. And that's how they're going to feel closer to him because they're doing what they're hearing him rap about. Not knowing that he ain't
on it like that.
Not like that, no. So that's why it's important. But you can't fault an artist. See, that's the thing. Just because you say you are a role model doesn't mean you're telling someone you're bad. Even though we are role models, it's like, how can you tell a rapper you're bad because you rap about that? and you didn't clarify in your music what drugs or how much drugs or what, it's art. Okay, that would really, and I want to stress this because I know right now they're in court talking about how, their
lyrics,
right,
and their
like,
impact. Can we use them?
That's insane. Could you imagine if we held film directors accountable for all the fucking murders they put in their movies?
And actors.
And actors. Can you imagine? And the director of the movie. And who actually wrote that line right here in this? Because whoever wrote that, what?
Okay, I'll offer some pushback.
Okay.
If Bruce Willis goes and kills 50 people in a movie, no one says a word. The second that he does it in real life, we might have to go back and look at that movie and make it applicable in court. No?
But we wouldn't. We wouldn't. Rap is the only genre of music, first of all, in my opinion. Rap is the only culture that from the beginning of time has been vilified. Like, from the very beginning, we have been treated like the bad guy. We have.
Well, we were the stepchild since inception. Fact.
Yeah. So they've been blaming us for stuff forever, since the beginning. So it's not like they do that to actors. It would be different if y'all always point a finger at actors, and then Bruce Willis does something, and then we say, oh, see what he was doing in his movie? No, Bruce Willis doesn't wear a target on his back every day as an actor. No, rappers do. They look at us where we're from. We can't help where we're from. We can't help that we are from the hood and we didn't have anything and we had to do certain things to get money. We can't help that. I'm sure Bruce Willis probably didn't have to do those things. So he's looked at as more as a law-abiding citizen. So our minds won't even go there. If he was to go to a court for something like that, they wouldn't even bring up his movies.
Because he gets to go be Bruce Willis when he goes home, and you don't get to go be Onika.
Right.
I understand.
Right. We're held to a different level of judgment. We just, from the beginning of time, we always have been. So I don't think they would ever bring up any movies that these, especially the white actors, do. Now, maybe a 50 Cent show or a movie, maybe they would do it to them. I think it's just about the culture. I think it's just about our culture. I think even if it was a black movie, sometimes they would do the same thing. I just don't think any culture that's predominantly white ever deals with that.
Are you aware Eric Adams, the New York mayor?
Oh, and about drill music?
Yeah. He said his son let him hear something and said, hey, this is dangerous shit. And then he went on the news and said this needs to be abolished or something of the sort. And then all the drill rappers responded. But yeah, Eric Adams thinks that drill music is a threat and it's the reason that New York City crime is increased.
Shame on him. Shame on him.
And shouldn't somebody else educate him outside of his child?
God.
And shouldn't he spend more time on educating himself than just speaking about it the very next day?
Well, I think that, and what you just said, if we even just start looking at that, why is he doing that? The reason why he's probably doing that is to point the finger. Oh, hey, if anybody ever looks at my record as, mayor and whatever, it's this drill music. That's what it is. Let's get this out of here. What? Well, drill music wasn't around in the 80s when everything was, why they had to do the Just Say No campaign and all this stuff when it was all this drugs and murder, rape, crazy skyrocketing. Was drill music there, Mr. Adams? No. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I think they blame rap music in the 80s too, though.
Oh my God. But they didn't blame rock stars, rock and roll. Rock and roll has been at the front of doing, partying for a very long time. Drugs, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right?
Synonymous.
But when you see one of these white rock stars, our minds don't go on crime and drugs and all this bad stuff. Why?
It's a different image. It's different treatment. Like I was about to ask you about just longevity in rap. as a woman. But when you think of rock and rollers and you think longevity is what, 50, 60 years?
That's right.
You've been around how long now?
Well, I guess since technically 2007. Technically 2007. So
Do you feel the weight of being tasked with adding to what longevity as a woman in hip hop looks like today?
of course.
Like, cause you're basically like I don't want to say the blueprint, but that's where we are now. We had Kim who had a run, we had Foxy who had a run, Lauren had a run, Missy had a run. Today though, you just kind of get to run and create and do as you please. It's a different era, it's a different time.
Yeah.
Is there pressure that comes with it?
Of course. Of course. Because in the very beginning of my career, I would always say in interviews that I don't feel that female rappers were given their just due in terms of on a long-term spectrum. Like, in my opinion, how they, in my opinion, the female rappers before me, I would always say they should have retired as moguls, right? Like, big, huge moguls. And I would say, why isn't there a female version of Jay-Z, who at that time, even when I was coming in, we could see that he was on moguls, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to do that. And even what I've done, I haven't done what I want to do, what I need to do, what I will do yet. I know it because I'm talking about full out mogul. But did they have the opportunities? Did they have the same opportunities? That's like so many rappers at that time. Some of the biggest rappers, some of the most influential rappers, they've never made $1 million for a show. They've never made what they absolutely deserve based on the doors that they opened for others, based on their level of talent, their level of influence. They've never been rewarded for doing any of those things. And now they get to sit back and watch other artists who they know is not as talented as them, but just because of where we are with everything, with whether it's social media or rap being just the #1 genre of music or whatever in the world, they have to now sit back. I know that can't be easy for them to watch, because now they have to watch that they can't send their grandchild, for instance, to college, whereas with all of the jewels that they gave to the culture, they should have been able to send their grandkids to college based on what they put into this thing. Mm-hmm. But they didn't get that. So yes, it's always been my goal to show. You give everything away, you give it away, you give it up. Like, can't go and see your parents all the time. You can't go and, there's so many things you just give up. You might not Thanksgiving, Christmas, you know what I mean? While everybody is enjoying their family and stuff like that. And then one day you wake up and years have gone by and people start to die. And then you look back and think to yourself, was it worth it?
Missing the moments.
Missing all these moments that you'll never get back. Like, I remember one of the most devastating things in my life was missing. My little brother was graduating from elementary school. And I just remember screaming at my mother, I can't believe you didn't tell me, that he was graduating. And she basically was like, oh, I didn't think it was a big deal to you. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, yes, that's a big deal to me. That was a big thing. And for him to look out in that audience and not see his big sister, I was like, I remember I was in Europe at the time, and I told her I would have rearranged and rerouted my whole tour to make sure I was there to see him graduate. But little by little, even your family, even your loved ones, they start thinking, oh, I'm not going to bother him with this. I'm not going to bother her with that.
Yeah.
Instead of realizing, no, those are the things I need.
Things are important to me.
Yes, You know, it's important for you as a human being, yo, as for your spirit, your soul, and as an artist. If you're not experiencing real life and real love and real heartfelt emotions, what are you writing about? And that's why everybody now was just writing about,
Nothing.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
A bunch of nothing, because when you first, that's why people always go back to like when an artist first came in, because we always have that hunger,
The most to say.
that pain, that this, because we're in it, we're in the moment. I have to remind myself now all the time, stay in the moment, get back in the moment. You just left the moment, come back to the moment, because I'm always
Ahead.
yeah, like thinking about what's tomorrow, what's next week, what's this tomorrow. Okay. And there are magical things happening that I'm not experiencing. I'm there physically, but I'm not experiencing it because I'm not there.
How much time do you spend alone?
Well,
And that's got to be tough at this level.
I actually spend a lot of time alone. I love being alone, actually. I'm one of those people that I used to just love getting off a tour just so I could just be in my bedroom alone and watch TV and do whatever I wanted to do and just, I've never been one of those people that needs to go out to the club and stuff like that, or be around other people. But I think it is important, for me to try to do it. But to be honest, a lot. I mean, obviously my husband and my son, are always there, but I would say I spend a good amount of time in my own world, in my own little space.
Good. Okay. You mentioned earlier mogul, and that should be important at this juncture. What do you feel needs to be done or added for you to hit that vision, your vision of mogul?
Well, all of my beauty deals, like
Tell me about the beauty deals. I don't know.
all of just stuff,
'Cause I was gonna ask.
makeup and hair and clothes and sneakers and
So you have all of those things happening.
I do. I have them happening. But there have been things that I put on hold in the last maybe year or two because obviously you never want to negotiate anything when you're not at your best in terms of what you're putting out into the world. Like, if you're a basketball player, you don't want to negotiate a deal when you've just had, when you haven't played, when you haven't been a starter or, for a long time. But you do want to negotiate that deal when you just been, a starter in every MVP in every last game, and you've been putting up, 40 points a game. You know what I'm saying? You do want to negotiate your deals then because you're going to get what you're worth.
Yeah.
So I hadn't been putting out music, right? So.
But the last music you put out was received well.
Well, no, because there was a lot of what's the word? Like remember with the Queen album, there was a lot of bullshit going on, and I don't think that it was presented correctly. It's not
Received well, but not presented correctly.
right. Yeah, and I don't think mentally I was in the right place. Even like with what I did afterwards. Like once that body of work was out, I don't think that I even presented myself correctly, in terms of what I was saying and how I was saying it.
Dark time? Did you have to present something at that time?
No, I don't even think I should have put out an album at that time. I don't think that I was ready to put the album out. But it was something really stupid now that I think about it. Something stupid. I think it was like the VMAs were coming up, and then also one of my label mates was about to drop, and I wanted to make sure that she and I had our own week, each our own week, I think, and also be in time for the VMAs. It was something like that was going on, and that's stupid. You never base your art around an award show, around a photo, like around no, your art is your art. All that stuff can wait. Because when the art is great, all that stuff comes. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to figure that out. It figures itself out, you know? So I don't even think the album should have been put out at that time when it was, in my opinion.
So, like every artist, you decide to go away and get it right. Because last project was what, 4 years ago?
Right. Well, I would have been putting something out after that, but you know, I got pregnant. So once I got pregnant, everything I had to fall back because I don't want to be shooting videos pregnant, and I didn't even feel like recording and saying certain things pregnant, and then COVID as well. It just so happened that the two huge things happened at the same time. And I can't tell you what it feels like to be pregnant during COVID. You know, just to even go to your doctor's appointments, it was so hectic to just, you know, go in. You know, everybody has to be masked, and it's scary because you don't know, you just don't know, especially your first child. You feeling like, oh my God, what if I do something and, you know, you just don't know what the hell you're doing. A lot of precaution. You know, yeah, and it's a weight, you know, it's a heavy weight on your shoulder because of it. So I had to do that. I had to have the baby, and then COVID, and then once I had the baby, you know, as a woman, you have to get back in shape and start, you know, just getting also. But
yo, that's so unfair for y'all, yo. Why is there like this window that y'all have to get back in shape, look the greatest, and be right back out? Like, why y'all can't just chill?
I guess you can. I mean, so many women do. You know?
There's a pressure.
There's a price you pay for taking too much time chilling, right? So you don't want to do that. But also, I also wanted to bond with my child. Like, I see sometimes, you know, some people pop the baby out and I couldn't. I wanted to bond with my son. I didn't want to just have nannies around. He still doesn't have a nanny.
For real?
So he still has never had a nanny.
Go ahead.
Never. But it's very hectic, time consuming, because I did, you know, I hired 4 nannies. They just didn't work out, you know, so I'm just trying to get someone that I really love.
So you tried the nanny thing.
Oh, yes.
And wasn't compatible.
So far. But obviously we do have to get them acclimated with someone.
Because you're going to have to show up places on time at some point.
Yeah, and I have to travel outside of the country. I have to do a bunch of stuff. I have to tour, can't tour and, you know, be taking care of the baby and doing all that stuff and, you know, be on stage every night. So
this is like a roller coaster now. You come off the album, there's COVID, there's pregnancy, there's a baby, I got to get back in the Nicki mode. Now you got to kind of relearn yourself.
Yeah, because I also went through writer's block, severe writer's block.
After the baby?
During the pregnancy.
You was writing a bunch of whack shit?
Huh?
You was writing whack shit?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Well, I wasn't even writing anything. I was trying, and I wouldn't have no ideas. I think I was too worried about the baby, or like I was just online Googling and YouTubing pregnant women all day. Like, oh, what did they do? How did they do? You know, and it was so many women. Because what they do is just not celebrities, regular women. They document their journey, and it makes it so easy so that those questions that you might have, these women are telling you, you know, what happens and answering questions, what to take to the, you know, when you go to the hospital, and how it's going to be raising a newborn, and how much, you know, sleep, just a bunch of stuff. So I was consumed with that because, hello, I'm about to have a baby. I'm all the way in California. I don't have a bunch of family around me. What am I going to need to do? Well, I wasn't thinking about no damn writing some hot raps.
Yeah, naturally so.
You know.
How long did it take you to get acclimated or get out of writer's block?
Well, I came out of writer's block with seeing green. Literally, yes. Okay, so, and how that happened was I texted Drake one time and I was like, you know what? I want to put out, I was like, the label wants to put out Beam Me Up Scotty. And I was like, I can't put out a mixtape and not give them something new, right? I was like, yo, what's hot out right now that you think I should jump on? And instead of him telling me, he texted me back and said, jump on this. And I listened to the song, And I'm so out of it. I was like, oh, this is out already? Y'all put this out? Because him and Wayne was already on it. And he was like, no, I was like, oh my God. So I kept on trying to write to it. I couldn't think of anything. I mean, everything I was saying was just so stupid and bad.
And those is the two last niggas you want to be whack with.
Exactly. Nobody knows what type of pressure that was. I sent Drake like 6 different verses.
Yo, but you know what's funny about you? Like, from the outside looking in, of course. Like, you invite that pressure
I know,
from
I do.
from the niggas that spit.
I do.
Right? Even now. Like, not one Lil Baby song, it's 2 Lil Baby songs. And he on there going crazy. You listening thinking, she's back at it again. Just pairing herself with the niggas that's...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you like that pressure?
Oh, I need that pressure. I have to have a sparring partner. Like, how do people get great? I mean, I don't want to...
But you always put yourself just in the category of the niggas.
Right.
Like, you make it a point to say, yo, don't just put me with them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, put me with them.
Well, it's because that's what I fell in love with about rap. I fell in love with, and everybody falls in love with different things. I fell in love with who spit the hottest rap, who spit the hottest verse on this song. That's just how I always been. So I gravitated to like Foxy Brown because I felt like she used to spit like a dude. Oh my God,
Love Foxy.
Yeah, like her precision was just like, even till this day, I think her precision in the way she pronounces everything and her clarity is just unmatched. And that's what I wanted to be like, I was never thinking about what everybody probably thinks I was thinking about. I was thinking about, Biggie and Jay-Z and these types of people who had the better verse on this and who had the better verse on that. That's always what intrigued me. So now when people I think at one point, people tried to bully me out of that mindset. Like, so that the bar could be lowered for women, Why does it have to be about dope raps? You're a rapper. Who cares about if the rap is dope? Could you imagine telling Michael Jordan basketball shouldn't be about just how many baskets, how many times you hit from the free throw line, how many 3-point shots you made, that's how many rebounds, how many. Can you imagine telling Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali it shouldn't be about your technique?
No.
No one would ever say that to these people. These are people, the greats in sports. But as soon as it comes to rap and female rap, they wanted me to start lowering the bar and starting to say, yeah, it doesn't matter. Get your raps written. Have bad verses. Have not thought out verses. Say anything. Who cares? It's just music. But to me, that's not what it is. And now, if that's what it is to you, you have every right to do that. But if it's not that to me, why should I say it is?
You don't have to.
And I didn't, and I don't.
It's probably safer too to put yourself in the box with the niggas, because if you start rapping like the aggressive raps to women or catered to women, the media people just think that it's smoke when it's just aggressive rap.
Oh, they always do that to me. They've been doing that to me since the beginning.
No, but we stopped doing that now.
Oh,
though.
yeah, okay.
No, we stopped now.
Okay.
There's a concentrated, I think, effort for the girlies to play nice with each other. I can see it.
Right.
Either play nice with each other or respect everyone's space.
Right.
So I'm not gonna be the media nigga to put something in that, but I like that. Do you notice it? Are you cognizant of it?
Yes, of course. Of course. It's been, but it didn't start.
Stop.
It didn't start from there. It didn't come from a good place. It came from the place of, well, yeah, it's great. Let's move on.
Yeah, wherever it came from, who cares? It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
And that was on display with that whole City Girls thing that we learned over the internet, however it was birthed. Like, that was more just leadership in that direction. Like, we don't need to mess.
That's right.
Back to how you felt off of your last project, just about how it was handled. That probably makes more sense for me as to why it seemed like every T is crossed and every I is dotted with your presentation this time. You haven't missed a beat.
Really?
For me,
Thank
I'm
you.
talking about in terms of when the record dropped, you at the Hawks game the same night.
Oh, yeah.
There are people that you have sat with from this side of the spectrum to late night,
Oh, yeah.
to Lil Baby being on both of the records, to the video being that type of movie. For me, there's mad effort
Yes.
into presentation
Yeah, for sure.
here.
For sure. And it's not even the album rollout. It's just my rap song rollout. It's not even like a crossover record or anything like that. Yes. So you're right.
Even that, right? Like normally when we hear, okay, Nicki Minaj is dropping 2 records. One of them is gonna be the Little Puppy Smashy single, and then one is gonna be for the heads. And
Right.
but this time they both was kind of joints.
Rap. Yeah, because I have stayed away so long that I have to now, I feel, overdo my core. But here's the other thing, if I'm being honest. Anytime a sound works, people just forget everything about who they are and jump on that sound. Oh my God.
Yeah, you did you on that record.
Yeah, because right now, there's a particular kind of record that every female rapper is trying to do. Well, not every, a lot. And I got some songs that I thought, some hooks that felt like that. And I said, I can't do that. Last album, I did the same thing with Chun-Li because it was like, okay, everybody's trying to do, or not trying, but doing the trap thing. I purposely bought a studio to to LA, and said, I just want you to give me New York sound and shit. That's it. Don't give me nothing that sounds like trap. That's why we have Chun-Li and Barbie Tings. Because everybody was doing that. Now, if I were to come out with a crossover record right now, that sounds like what everybody is doing with, I wouldn't feel good about myself. So in my opinion, I have to do me. Shout out to my core, just the rap fans. I have to give them what I think they've been missing. I also wasn't going to come out with a very explicit song because I feel like that's what everyone's doing. Everybody seems to be doing, something extremely explicit or a kind of a hook that sounds like, because, once anybody has success with anything, it seems like everybody just jumps on that sound. Even if they may not have even liked it, it might be people behind them telling them to do it. Once you do that, and once you do it a couple times, who then are you? We've now forgotten who you are. And so I don't think people realize that if you jump on it, every trend, you become faceless. It's like...
This is a deep point.
Yeah, it's important. It's important people know this. Yes, I know you want the biggest radio smash. So somebody in your camp told you, well, you gotta do this because she just won with that. So you gotta have a hook that sound like that. Okay. Now, when they talk about female rappers, eventually your identity goes away. So now, when they bring up female rappers, you will never have a standing chance at longevity, really, a name that's really going to stand the test of time. We all do it as artists, but sometimes I feel some people do it with everything. It's always, okay, well, what's hot now? Let me jump, and you have to be careful because yes, it might give you the biggest smash song for that moment, but afterwards, you'll realize you don't have an identity.
Yeah,
really.
but nobody is ever here to tell them about what happens afterward, right? And what happens when you're just trying to find yourself, but you never do. Like some people are not in it for back end money or making sure their kids are all right. Some people just want the quick notoriety, the quick record, and I'm done with this. Give me my quick pub check and I'm out.
Got it.
Everybody's
Okay.
not passionate, right, about this.
Okay. You're right. You're right. I guess you're right.
How
I
do you
guess.
avoid that type of complacency at this juncture in your career? How do you go about creating and rolling out differently, just challenging you? Fuck what the label is saying, what the fans are saying. How do you just avoid boredom with creating?
I don't know. I just think it comes from me being very hard on myself naturally. You know, like I'm telling you, I have songs right now that if I was to put it out, they would check all the boxes that people probably think I want to have checked. But I can't live with myself. What people want, a lot of people want, and what I want, I guess, are different. I want to be able to have integrity. I want to be able to, when I go home at night, look at myself and be like, solid individual right here, period. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't mind if someone says, oh, she's a bitch or she's this, she's that. But I'm a solid human being, solid person. So, as an artist, I hold myself to that same standard. I can't just blow whichever way the wind blows that day. You know what I'm saying? In order to chart or in order to sell or in order to whatever. I fell back for years because I don't need to be in the rat race of whatever it is that people are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think that right now, the rat race about number ones or on Billboard Hot 100 is the only thing they should be caring about. When I said this, but I don't think this came out yet. I think I talked about this in my documentary. But in the history of rap, you've never and will never hear anybody disputing who is the best MC. You know how we have those MC talks? You'll never in the history of rap hear somebody say, oh, you know what's the tiebreaker? Who had the most number ones?
No.
Who had the most number ones between Jay-Z, Biggie, and Nas? Who had the most Grammys between Jay-Z, Biggie, and Nas? You'll never, ever in life hear any hip-hop head say, well, the tiebreaker for me to decide who is the illest rapper, let's ask that. No. So I think a lot of people got into it like thinking that that's what mattered, and now they're realizing that doesn't matter. Because if that was the case, I would have been long gone being discussed. But you see that that's not what people care about in rap, in the culture. We care about technique, and it's not always supposed to be metaphors and all of that. Some people that I love don't spit metaphors, and that's not their style, and that's fine. Like, I think that's the other thing. I think people think that I only look at certain kinds of rappers as dope. No. It's a lot of rappers that don't rap like that. But you could still see they're passionate about what they do and how they do it, and that it's authentic to who they are. And they're not switching it up every second just because of something, is hot this season. So that's a different level of respect that you have for those people.
I agree. Speaking of respect, I saw you say that you would do a verses with one or two people. We all got to guessing. I already know who one of those people would and should be. I guess would be Kim. The other one, I had no idea. I was stumped a little bit. I thought that maybe you put that there just to stump niggas, because who else would this be outside of Kim, Missy? I don't think Foxy, I don't think that's there. It's just Kim and Missy, and maybe Lauren, but I don't even see that. I don't see it stylistically.
I haven't said anyone's name,
Only me. Yeah, no. I'm saying the names.
I'm not saying anybody's name.
But that's something that you would seriously be open to. I feel like you just want to get up there and slaughter somebody with a bunch of hits and features.
No, because I approach those things as a rap fan, not as Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
Just as a rap fan. And I think that there are a lot of, I'm not a lot of, but I'm just saying, like, no, it's just about if somebody can play their joints and have people reminisce and go crazy and that, you know. So, yes, there are.
Oh, you and Kim got to do it, man. Because now that I'm listening to what you're saying, the reminisce, go crazy. You know, that's got to happen. It's got to happen. A few minutes ago, you said you were starting something else that sounded really big, which brings me back to my mogul shit. Documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Documentary.
Oh, God. I don't.
There's a. You said it. I didn't.
Well, we're doing a documentary, but when it's ready, I'll let everybody know. I'm not talking about it anymore because my fans then start making up things in their own head and saying it's supposed to be out this time. So it'll be out when it's ready. That's what I'm gonna start just saying. It'll be out when it's ready, and I'm not gonna talk about anything else. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not putting anything out in the world because it's a lot of people that just
Okay, so can you tell me more about the management company then?
Oh, okay. Well,
I just want to hear about your thoughts, and your visions for you and your brand in like the next 5 years. I feel like you've done it already in music.
Okay.
Like I almost feel like to talk to you about music, unless I'm talking about what you've learned and what you've experienced, is almost asinine. For me, you're like a legacy act now.
Okay.
Like you have to be mentioned there, and we could talk about what you did, and anything you do moving forward don't really change that part for me.
Okay.
But when I see the women's, right? When I see like Riri and Fenty, when I see fucking Kim and the Fendi Skims, when I see fucking Cash Doll acting, Davies act, just niggas doing different things. And I come to one of the biggest brands that we have. You intrigue me when I hear about the different ways that your mind is working. Like I wouldn't think management is a passion for you. But when you started talking about it, it sounded like it.
Well, no. Okay. Well, no. What I'm saying is I'm creating my own management company to manage me. And then along the way, I'm sure that we will be able to manage others. So I'm putting the key players together around myself because there are people in my life currently who I think, you know, are really dope at what they do. And now it's just a couple other seats I think that are open, and I want to create my own. I am creating my own management company as opposed to going to somebody and having them sign or you know be as opposed to having someone manage me and then getting a percentage of everything that I've built for all these years. No, I'm going to create my own management company. And, you know, have different divisions of that management company there. And I think it'll probably just be a lot easier for me. I'm also doing my record company. Okay. I have a couple artists that I will start the record company with. But those things will probably I'll probably speak on that or announce it closer to, you know, album time. I took Queen Radio to another company. So that
was my next question.
Yeah, so they'll probably put out their press release in a couple weeks. Yes, I am working with a director right now regarding a movie. Can't wait to tell everybody about that. I'm really excited about that. It's a bigger role than I've ever taken on. And it's more in-depth role than I've ever taken on. And it's time, right? Like, can't just be doing those surface roles. So, in addition though, every time I would put something on Instagram, it would sell out, especially when I first just came back, right? Everything would sell out, people's stocks would go up, et cetera, et cetera. But I right now have a couple companies on the table to do things with, and when I launch them, you guys will know. But obviously, makeup and hair is my passion, and clothes and sneakers is my passion. When I did my Fendi line, I went to Italy and spoke to Sylvia and the company, and she showed me the grid of how their clothes went up once my line came out, right? And she said prior to my clothing line coming out, they were not doing really well with the clothes that had the actual Fendi prints on. That everybody wanted to get away from the Fendi print.
Okay.
And I wanted to run to the Fendi print. And Chun-Li said Fendi prints on, and that changed everything. Once Chun-Li came out, I didn't have a Fendi deal yet. Once Chun-Li came out and I said Fendi prints on, all the girls started posting and saying Fendi prints on. So Fendi, gave me a deal, right?
Right here.
All of the stuff flew off the shelves, right? I told Kanye about that. I was like, hey, look, I'm about to do something. And I just wanted to make sure I spoke to you first, because I have so much respect for him. And he was like, well, if I did something with you, I don't think, I think my wife, it wasn't during this time, it was a while ago. He was like, my wife probably wouldn't love that idea because I should be giving that to my wife instead, if I was doing like a female version of Yeezys or whatever, it would probably should go to my wife. And I understood this. How you gonna tell somebody about their husband or wife? Yeah. So I said, okay, but I wanted to come to him first because I know what I know my influence. But at the same time, we have to be careful. We have to be careful. When we say things like, so Kanye was very vocal about the fashion industry not letting him in at one time. Mm-hmm. So if a black female rapper who has just shown herself to be sellable in that space, and this is not from Joe Schmo down the block, it's from Fendi, saying, right, all of these things flew off the shelf. Then when I come to you as a black man that I look up to, I'm doing that because you inspired me, because you said the fashion industry didn't want to let us in, even though we're so influential. And then when I did ask, just put it on his radar, he said what he thought, how he thought his wife would feel about it. And we didn't really speak much more about it. Now I'm not saying that she said that. She wasn't there. So I want to make it clear. But that's what he thought, that how she would feel about it. And so it is what it is. But we have to be careful, like, that when we put those things out there and when a door is open, that we do, figure out a way to have another black face there, you know what I'm saying, in that space. Because what's the point if not, That's why it takes us so long to get into so many things, even though we are the most influential people on the planet.
Well, that's why me asking you about Queen Radio was so important to me, because yeah, you're great at it, but the symbolism and what it means for Nicki Minaj to be in media and dedicated and consistent in this area, it says something. It says something to the women looking up, trying to do this thing. Same thing the young black men are saying about the Brian Flores black head coaching situation in the NFL. Like, you need that representation, right. The same representation you talk about in fashion. Mm-hmm. Like, it's important.
Yeah. Especially
with your relationship with fashion, it just seems like that's, right. It just seems like it's 1 and 1 makes 2.
Yeah. Remember when I told you about, when we first started talking, I said the thing about pink wig, thick ass, right? And everybody knew me for wearing the pink wigs, right? You would think that right now hip hop is the biggest, most influential genre in the world, right? Mm-hmm. You would think the biggest female rapper of all time, who has set so many trends, would have been on the cover of American Vogue, but she hasn't. Now, listen to this. When Billie Eilish comes out and she sets a trend with her green hair, she's immediately put on American Vogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when a black female rapper who has been setting the trend for 10 years does it, no one says anything. A big part of the reason why we're not represented is because we have to, what I think we're doing now, I think we're all speaking up for each other. So I think now you've made it so, we've all made it so, no, people have to pay attention to what they're doing, how they're treating black artists and black people, and there has to be representation, et cetera, et cetera. I remember I would be, I would do magazine covers, right? And they would always ask me not to wear pink hair. But I would see Katy Perry on a cover with pink hair, and I would see Lady Gaga on the cover with pink hair. I came in the game wearing pink hair and Chinese bangs, but whenever it was time to be represented on certain covers or in fashion, it was, no, we need you stripped down, no, down. Mm-hmm. But I've been a trendsetter. So I was talking to Soulja Boy the other day. I said, you know what's funny?
Fellow trendsetter.
Yes. I said, you know what's funny? We as a community, we all say when we love you and we laugh when you say that you started something and you have your receipts to prove it or whatever. I was like, but if I say that, I am immediately shunned and, it immediately, for some reason, is a bad thing for a black woman to say, I started that trend. For some reason. And it's other black women sometimes doing it to, we and I want to make sure I say we, sometimes we do that to each other and we're not realizing that no white person ain't going to go up there and say, oh, Billie Eilish didn't start this trend, et cetera, et cetera. No, they just going to let her have her shine. Mm-hmm. They're going to say, yeah, she put that on the map. Whether she put it on the map or not, she's successful, she's beautiful, she got everybody wearing a certain hairstyle. I know I love her. And when she does do these covers, they're beautiful. So
when Soulja Boy says it, it seems like we find the humor in it. I don't think we would find that same humor if you did it.
Why? But forget humor. I don't think we only find humor when Soulja Boy says it. I think we find humor in truth. And there's truth in humor. And that's why it's funnier, because there's receipts to prove it.
With a lot of it. Some of that other shit he just be talking.
Not everything he says, but I'm saying a lot of stuff he said, people were like, oh, wow, you know what? He did, whatever. He didn't start everything in the world, but he is a trendsetter. He did certain things, whatever.
And he's educating the people that might have missed it.
Right, exactly.
You can't do that.
Why?
It's bullying.
Exactly. Everything I do and say, it's bullying. It's a problem.
You've sold too many records that do that. You can't do it. I'm sorry.
Do you realize how ridiculous that is? And this is the only reason why I'm saying
Listen,
that, Joe.
when I say something about my accomplishments, they call me a narcissist. It's like it's not just you. Everybody has their little thing. Really? They call me self-centered. They call me a piece of shit. Hey, why are you telling us what you did? Don't fucking matter what you did. Shut the fuck up.
Really?
Listen, LeBron had that whole thing a few years ago. Shut up and dribble. Like, where the reporter said whatever they said. Like, they don't want to hear from us outside of our respective fields, no matter the markets that we've influenced. Like, the markets I've influenced don't have nothing really to do with music. Nothing to do with music at all. Some whole other shit. That didn't mean I didn't pick up the shit along the way to affect it. And that don't mean that y'all got to look at me a certain way when I say that I affected it. I think T.I. now is going through something where the comedians are fucking on his ass because he's trying stand-up.
He is?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
He's trying stand-up comedy. Good for him.
Okay.
I encourage people to go do new shit and try new shit. But it's that backlash that you speak of. It's, hey, I'm stepping out, I'm doing something daring and new, and it's my own people that maybe have the most to say about it.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why I want you to understand why it matters, Joe. It matters because when I was saying it back then, nobody understood why it mattered, right? But it mattered because now, for instance, you see like how when you spoke and said, oh, this woman should have a Grammy because look at her work, look at the people when they're performing, they've been influenced by her, right? Mm-hmm. When someone like you says it, other people have said it, other people say it or whatever, and they start realizing, wait a minute, why aren't we there represented? Why? So now it's you get a Grammy, everybody get a Grammy, right? Mm-hmm. But the people before who deserved them just are gonna do without. That happens a lot. So like right now, the reason why we waited all this time, because I was telling people back then about it, like, yo, y'all don't think somebody that has so much influence, like setting trends as a female and dominating in this space for so long should be on the cover of every fashion magazine? People didn't understand why, but then when they started looking back a couple years ago during COVID and everybody was saying, wait a minute, this person was never represented and we don't have representation. It's because we shut each other down. When someone says it, when someone says, hey, guys, don't you think this is a little bit bugged out? So that's what we were doing with each other with the Grammys. We were shutting each other down and saying, but now everybody's saying, no, this rapper here does deserve. He should have been got one. She should have been got one. Now they're giving them away to our black people because we spoke up. You understand? The fashion industry didn't have to do anything because we didn't really make that much of an impact when we were discussing how crazy it was. Because we know what we influence and who we influence and how influential we are. But when a black person say, hey, this person didn't start doing that. I've been doing this. I did it. If we keep on doing this, no, don't, shut up, don't say that, don't. Then we never are able to say it. And that's what they want. They want us to shut the fuck up and not speak on what we do so they don't have to put us on the covers of stuff. Now that people have been speaking up, now people are going to be, are on the covers. Now people have been speaking up, people are getting more Grammys. But it takes us, our community, just by ourselves, when we start speaking, everything changes. It doesn't matter what they're doing in their fields. It's when we speak up and when we back each other up for saying it, that's when everything fucking changes. So I think we have to be mindful of when you see a black person saying what they've done, we have to be mindful to not like tear them down because we are looking at it as bragging. But the Jews ain't looking at each other like they bragging when they say what they did. The white people, like, they're giving each other props. Why only we look at each other like we're bragging or we're doing too much? Or why? We've always had to dim ourselves down. We've always had to dim our fucking light down. So it's become so synonymous with who we are. So that if you start saying something and feeling proud of yourself, other people get uncomfortable.
Well, that's why it's important for me to just be proud and not give a fuck what other people have to say about me. But you got to learn that. That thick skin is like an acquired skill. Like we were talking earlier about how you've had to navigate through, well, not just you, but through the blog era and through the vlog era and through camera phone era, and you had to kind of learn to create that way for the people after. It's tough, and we take it for granted.
We should let each other in our own communities speak about what we think we did. What we think we did. You know what I'm saying? What we've influenced or what we haven't influenced, because there's nothing wrong with it. Shouldn't be taboo. It's okay. You know what I'm saying?
We should own our influence.
Yes!
We should stop licensing our influence places so we could participate in all the different areas that our influence affords.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. In 2017, what year was that I went to Paris Fashion Week, Joe? Was it 17 or 18? 17?
I think it was 17.
17, right?
It was an everyday struggle, yeah.
So So look, Joe, I was in Miami. I was about to. Now I had gone to the VMAs, right? And everybody was like, "Oh my God, your hair looks so nice like that." Now, at that time, everybody started wearing their hair jet black, part in the middle, you know. So when we was about to go in Paris, I said in Miami, in the room, I was like, "Oh, you know what I'm gonna do?" And this is who was in the room. Grizz, who was my videographer at the time, Maher, who was my stylist at the time, and Neil Farina, who was my hairstylist at the time. I said, "Oh, you know what? They ain't giving me my props. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wear my hair to my feet. Jet black, middle part to my feet." And I said this, and I don't work with any of them anymore, so, I mean, they would let you know if I was lying.
I know.
I said this, I was
tell
like,
you.
you know what? Watch everybody start wearing this style in their hair. So, of course, they did, right? But now, if that was a new, fresh, probably white artist, even for something like that, they would have been on the cover of every magazine. You know what I'm saying? With that influence and all that. But not me, because if, like you said, if I say, "Oh, y'all, remember in 2017 when I started wearing my hair like this?" Then our own will be like, "Oh, girl, don't even talk about that. She gotta mention that." The reason why you gotta mention it, y'all, let me make sure I explain this, is because when we don't mention it, we are erased from
like
those
it
things.
didn't happen yet.
They act like it didn't happen. And therefore, they can continue to minimize our influence. That's why we don't have those. That's why Kanye is saying, we weren't able to get in the meetings, get in the room in the fashion company. If you don't let a black woman say, "Hey, I started wearing my hair like that in 2017." If you don't let a black woman say that, somebody else will inadvertently get the credit, and they'll continue showing no regard to black women for what we do for this culture.
Very important point that you made.
It's very true. That's why Billie Eilish can come out on Monday with a new hairstyle, and on Tuesday she'll be on the cover of American Vogue with it. They don't have to do it with us because we beat ourselves down. Yes, I did start wearing my fucking hair like that. Rest in peace, Karl Lagerfeld, because when he saw me in Paris, he loved it. Now, till this day, everybody is wearing their hair like that. And we just gonna pretend Nicki ain't start doing. I remember when I first started doing my hair.
You bitches couldn't even spell Prague.
That's right. And when I had my hair like that in my Prague video, people
Oh, I
was
love
laughing.
that Prague
they
video.
Was like, where she going with all that thing? That hair was
She
thing.
going
and
to
this
Prague,
and that.
bitch. Where you is?
No, but when I went to Prague, they was loving it, child. No, but Joe, I never wanted to talk about it. I can only talk about it with you because you understand from both sides of what's happening. When I started wearing my hair like that, right? The wigs that they were selling, I posted some of them. It was like, it said the Nicki wig. Now, if you go and buy that kind of wig, it's not going to say the Nicki wig because everybody's worn it. And it looks beautiful on everyone. Let me make sure I say that. It looks beautiful on everyone. Everybody should wear it. Mm-hmm. But we never stopped and said, Nicki Minaj changed. Like, I said a lot of fucking trends in hair and a lot of shit, but it doesn't go to us. Let me tell you one other thing. A male rapper said this to me. A male rapper said this to me in 2015. He said, black women would rather give Kim Kardashian their props over giving it to you. They'll rather say, "Oh, I got this from Kim K." And by the way, Kim K is very influential and she has started a lot of trends. And now I'm not going to take that away from her. She's very, she starts a lot of trends. But a male rapper said that to me in 2015 and I didn't understand what made him say that. I said, really? He said, yeah, they would rather say they doing something like him than to say they doing something like Nicki Minaj. Why is that? And we didn't get into a long conversation with it, right? Recently, I just want to let people know the reason why the most whatever female rapper or whatever isn't being represented on, hasn't been represented on an American Vogue, whatever. It's because if you don't speak up, we don't fight for each other, then they can take what you did and they can put it on someone else on a different race or whatever, you know, and just act like you never happened. And that's not okay, because it's been happening since the beginning of time, when black men were standing up there singing and dancing and writing music, and white bands were singing their music, and those black men died poor. Their families died poor. Because we don't do that. I was at the VMAs with my hair like that. Kim K had her hair wet and wavy that day. Looked beautiful. The following week at Fashion Week, Kim wore her hair, the long black, right, with the middle part. All I know is I said to my team in that motherfucking hotel in Miami, I said, I'm about to put it to my feet. So when they do it to their feet, they have to, give me my props. Chill.
Not at all.
Still ain't get them props. And it's not about the props. It's about, let's change the fact that when black people say, hey, I did this and such and such. Like when LL the other day, when everybody was spelling out the money, the thing with the money.
And he showed his shit.
And he said, look, I did this with the ice, with the, ice, right? And I thought that was dope. I love seeing things like that. I love when people school us and say, oh, I did this and such, You understand? Now, yes, Cher has worn her hair like this. Yes, Donna Summers has worn her hair like this, whatever. But you know why you wearing your hair like that right now in this moment, sweetheart. You feel me?
Well, that's the thing about influence, right? Like, so powerful, and we have so much of it. But who are we influencing? Like, we don't know. Like, when we type on this internet, we don't know who sees it, who's looking. We could be influencing the person that them other people want to be the face of something that they shouldn't be, right? And that's why the ownership part comes into play. Like you mentioned Kanye earlier, I thought that one little sentence he said was profound when he said, hey, they offered me $100 million for my album exclusively, but I've never met Tim Cook. Yeah. You wouldn't meet him. Because we want the influence. We don't necessarily want to sit down and talk to you and listen to you and think tank and share ideas. So yeah, it's important for people to know what they bring to the table. It's important to demand some shit. And the fucked up part is that we gotta bump our head a few times before we pick up the proper information to be able to say the shit that you're saying now.
Yeah, and by the way, let me make sure I say this, because you know how they like to twist my words. The same way I feel I should have already been on the cover of American Vogue, so should Little Kim. If we being all the way 1,000. If we being all the way 1,000. If this is what your magazine represents, influence.
Then how do you not?
If we being honest. If we being honest, because any female rapper, when myself or Little Kim goes on the internet, every day we see our influence. We will see our influence. So I'm not gonna say it's about me only, right? And not give that woman her just due about what she did and what.
Well, who's on the board, or who's in the meeting, or who's behind the scenes in the think tank, in the think group, in the brain trust, saying, "Hey, well, what about?"
Right, and Joe, thank you, because I would have forgot to say this. Yeah. Hold on, let me say this. Because I love, every time I've ever met Anna Wintour, she's been so gracious to me. And in the beginning of my career, she let me sit with her and she showed me love. And so let me make sure I explain this properly. There are people around. Anna Wintour is probably in her 60s. So I don't know how old Anna Wintour is. I don't expect Anna Wintour to know everything that's going on with every rapper in the game. I'm talking to the people around Anna Wintour. I'm talking to the people around the biggest decision makers in fashion, in the fashion world. I don't expect, like, Karl Lagerfeld, he wouldn't have probably seen me if he didn't bump into me at the party that I had happened to go to that day. So look, when he did see me, he did the right thing. He said, I want to do a shoot with you. I love this, what you have, this hair. You understand? So she may not know I don't expect Anna Wintour to know everything going on in rap. Like, this woman has the biggest job, and one of the biggest jobs in the world. So I want to just say she's always been so gracious to me. It's not about that, but it's what you said, Joe. Who's at that table with her? Y'all know. Y'all 20-somethings old, 30-somethings old. Y'all know. It's your responsibility to wave the flag. You don't just take it and put it on another face and another person.
No, not just wave the fat flag, to die on the sword.
Word.
If you are the entrusted person to convey culture or to relay culture, if you are the voice to this person who may not typically get it, then no, you gotta lay on the floor and fucking die for that and really express the message, even if it's to your detriment. There's too many times where you bump into the nigga who it's their job to explain why this person would be a benefit to your company. And we should have been past that point. Or should be past that point, but...
No, you just said some real ass shit, and I hope people understand what you just said. I hope people get it.
They won't, child.
But it's very important because no owner, no face of anything is the person that's doing everything by themselves. They hire people around them for a reason. That's the reason, for you to be the eyes and the ears on that whatever is popping and be like, no, this person, she did, he's who is influencing, he's who they listen to. Yes, it's your responsibility.
Yes, it is. Your legacy today and how you see it versus what your legacy will be when you're done. Because listening to you talk, girl, you a long way from done. Your brain, I can almost hear it.
Yeah.
You got a lot of plans, and they all in so much motion that you can't even fucking really share it. You just got a lot of shit coming, and it all need to be in lieu of one another.
Yes, I just feel like I sold myself short when I didn't, like, I'm a businesswoman in a lot of ways, and in a lot of other ways, I didn't let my businesswoman hat come on in time, right? Like, I think it was and I'm not blaming anyone. I think it was my job to know. And people used to tell me sometimes, but I was so caught up with, writing, and I don't think people understand. And this is another thing you'll be able to understand. When you write your own music, it's a very time-consuming thing. Mm-hmm. People don't understand how long that takes, especially when you're a perfectionist. How many times you cross it out and redo it, and people probably say, "Oh, you bugging, that was ill," and you do it over and over and over. It's a time-consuming thing. So I think if I could have figured one thing out earlier, I probably would have said, "Okay, all this time you taking to rewrite, write, spend half of that time on that, and go and get your makeup deal and your this and that and the other things, right? Which I'm doing now, right? Because like when I did the MAC campaign, right? Which is a campaign, it funds AIDS research and awareness and stuff like that. I had the highest sales, right, in my MAC campaign. They give you like a lipstick and you sell it, and that's what it goes to benefit people in that that are either living with AIDS or just the research to teach our kids and teach everybody about what's going on with HIV and AIDS, right? But all of the biggest girls do it, and mine was the highest selling one. I would put out one lipstick, it would sell out 5 seconds, and we would try little limited things online, it would sell out in 5 seconds. I put on Crocs, sells out everywhere. I put on the pink hat, sells out everywhere. I put on the Louis Vuitton accessories with the whole outfit. Whatever, my younger fans can buy, they're gonna buy it. So next thing you know, it's gonna be sold out on the website. It's nobody's job to say, "Oh, Nika, you need to be selling your own shit that's going back to you and your son and your son's son and da-da-da-da." It's nobody's fault but my fault.
It's their job to not tell you.
Right. I should have figured that out. I should have been more on top of that sooner, so I don't blame anybody. But what I will tell the girls now is to play on your strengths and own that space. You know, I didn't know Coi Leray started the trend with the braids. I didn't know that. I think someone told me afterwards, right? Because I was on like my little hiatus and stuff, and I came back. I saw everybody wearing the particular kind of braids, and I didn't know that Coi Leray started those braids. Has she, you know, no, are people saying to the this girl right here, I know y'all gonna put a bunch of different white people that did it, but this girl right here did it. You know, I remember when FKA Twigs was wearing the baby hair.
I love FKA
She's
Twigs.
an icon.
Yes.
Icon. Like
Fire.
someone like her. I remember before the baby hair trend became the trend, FKA Twigs was on that shit. Now we're gonna put every, trendy person in the world on the cover of a magazine with the baby hair. Did FKA Twigs get her just due for that? And notice I just said 3 different women of color. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why we don't stop and give them their props?
You are highlighting this in the fashion and hair industry. Artists like NDRE and many others have highlighted this with the streaming services and how we're paid and viewed and treated there. This has been a constant conversation with the young black TikTok dancers and creators and how the algorithm. So what you're saying is blanketed just across the industry. What I try to think about when I go to bed is how do I make some progress, even if not for me, but for my grandkids or great grandkids? How can we just change anything about this shit? Are there any industry standards that we as artists and media and influencers can initiate? And how?
How?
It's loaded.
How, right. But I think that you should definitely begin to figure that out. You would be surprised how many people would lend their voice to that cause, with you. When I spoke to you, when you and I was fussing and fighting and cussing each other out, one of the things I said to you, I said, oh, it matters coming from you. Because when you speak on a rapper, it's different than anybody else speaking on a rapper. Because when Shaq or Charles Barkley is speaking about the game, the players, they know these guys, they respect the sport in a different way because they've played it, they've been in there. Whether not only when it was game time, but when it was dark and when it was lonely and it wasn't when it wasn't too fun. And I was saying, I said, I think I used the term one of the gatekeepers or something like that. And you were like, oh no, I'm not one of the gatekeepers. I don't know what our back and forth was. And I said, well, you don't see that. Well, that's the problem. A lot of times as Black people, we don't see our power until it's too late. We don't see our influence until it's too late. That's why I highlighted when you spoke on Queen Radio, and I highlighted when you spoke on the Grammys. For me personally, not because of those are things that are important to me, but because I wanted to show the world, hey, it's what he has to say is important. And the only way we tell the world that is by us saying it. Like I can't say, oh, you know what, it's what he thinks is important. I have to show that I think it's important by reposting it and saying, hey, thank you, Joe, for saying this. Thank you for caring. Thank you for paying attention to this. Because when you said that about the Grammys, a lot of other people said, yo, he's right. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I hold certain people, I hold y'all to certain standards, higher standards. If you know that you have an influential voice, right? And by the way, I don't expect y'all to like everything I do. I'm perfectly fine if you say, yo, Nick, you could have came harder on that verse. You should have came harder on that verse. That's fine. And people be thinking you want.
Should that be a text or a tweet?
However you want to do it, because I think you would know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't expect anybody to only praise me and never say something that's constructive. You know what I'm saying? If it's something constructive, you already know how I take rap seriously. So if a person that I feel like is an ill lyricist tells me something like that, I'm gonna take it to heart. I'm gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna use it like, yo, you know what? I could have came harder on this or whatever. That's how I think about rap. But I'm just saying, when I had called you one of the gatekeepers at that time, you was like, oh, what? No, I'm not. And now I hope that you are more comfortable in that role, because maybe people wasn't saying it outwards. You know what I'm saying? They probably, so a lot of times people get attention for the wrong reasons. Maybe people was just cussing you out when you said something they didn't like, but maybe they weren't stopping to say, well, the reason why I care when you say something I don't like is because I think that when you say something, there's a level of importance there. People don't really do that. So I wanted to start with myself saying it and showing it and doing it, because I've also not done it enough. Also not told people publicly, you know, certain things about, you know, positive about what they do and what they mean to our community. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna start with my motherfucking self. And I'm gonna make sure that when certain people say things and do things, I'm still gonna highlight it. You know, even with Wendy Williams' situation, and she said something to me one time, and my fans was like, oh, she's been so horrible and mean to you, and da-da-da. I said, it's okay. If I'm putting weight on the negative things she says about me, that means I care about the positive things as well that she said, right? So I'm going to highlight the positive thing, just like how I cussed your ass out about the negative thing. You feel me? So we all have to make sure we commend other people in our culture, so that we all start showing other cultures that we are important to each other. You feel me? Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I hate to be cliche and say it, but motherhood is beaming off of you.
Thank you.
No, all of this good parent mother shit that comes after a kid.
It's true.
You talking that shit?
So. I think it had my son. Yeah, my son has grounded me and changed me.
You sound like you just in such a good space mentally and spiritually. I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here, but like last time I saw you, the energy was a little on edge. It was a little defensive.
But that was still iconic. We still was iconic.
No, we smoked that shit. That was it. That was a legendary meeting for all that fucking took place, right? But when I left, just artist to artist, when I put my emotions to the side, I'm like, that nigga's going through a lot. Like, we had Apple, it's a husband there, it's this, that, it's label shit, it's music, like, it's juggling a lot. Like, I used to have those moments in my career where I was just a little more on edge than I typically am.
Right.
And there'd be shit going on. Right. So you want to try to be, at least today, I want to try to be more empathetic to what artists have going on. Right. So that's important.
Yeah, because you did go over to the other side, and that's why I was like, you acting like you don't know what this shit feels like.
Yeah, no,
you went over all the way to the other side at one point, and it was just like you was like on the other side completely. I said, excuse
me? Yeah, I remember. But listen, you saying shit like this, and I'm done, but you saying shit like this is what has some of these barbs thinking that my barb card is fake. Some of these barbs think that it's up and it's stuck. No, you have to tell them.
Okay.
It's like 4 or 5 of them niggas that's still a little flagrant. The rest of them kind of know it's peace.
Listen. Y'all, Joe did something that erased any craziness he said in the past, which is he spoke up and defended me about something that I had been fighting about for years, and nobody else did it. Nobody else wanted to speak on it. He didn't have to. He knew he was going to get a lot of shit and from other people who, you know, control a lot of the media that comes out, but he didn't care. And when I see people like that take a stance, even when they know they can get backlash. And remember, he's not my friend. He didn't know if it was going to matter to me, or if he was going to he didn't do it thinking, I'm going to get some cool points with this, or I'm going to get an interview with it. It wasn't nothing like that. He did that on his own. In fact, I didn't even know about it right away. I wasn't even on the internet right away. When I came back, I saw that. I said, he said that? What the hell? That was amazing, because And then on the other side, you know, there was a situation I went through with a breakup, and everybody was tearing me down and having the biggest kiki. And you know, I always say, 50 spoke up for me. He didn't have to. The Game was another one, and also Boosie. Boosie spoke up for me. And so to this day, I always am going to remember those people and respect those people. When people are kicking you while you're down, and somebody says, wait, hold on. You never forget those people. That's just how I am. I'm never gonna forget those people. And during that whole Grammy conversation and all that stuff, and when everybody was using it as a dig at me and to laugh at me, Joe came out and spoke on it and didn't waver on it. He said what the fuck he had to say.
Yeah, man, we're gonna fix that.
And it made a lot of people say, wait a minute, he's right. Because they knew he wasn't saying because, oh, he's in her camp or he's cool or whatever. No. And that's why they respect a person's opinion. They respect people's opinion who's going to just speak truth. No matter if you want kudos from this artist, no matter if you're best friends with this artist or not. Because me and him was not speaking back and forth about shit. I didn't even know you said that. You didn't tell me. I didn't ask you to say that. You didn't tell me you was going to say that. You did that because based on the climate of the culture, you felt it needed to be said. And you said it. So whether or not I get a Grammy or not, I'm still going to remember that this person put his neck out on the line to speak up for me.
Nah, we getting that Grammy. Fuck you talking about. I know that as an artist, we can't not. Fuck you talking about.
I mean, you know what? But can I just say something? And I always want to make sure I say this because people think sometimes that you don't care. No, I don't. I'm not saying. And everybody that has a Grammy, you should be proud of yourself. So I want to make sure I say that too. But no, it's just about knowing that my people, just my culture, my community, my circle of hip hop knows what I've put in it. That's all I wanted. That's why I'm not even pressed about that like that. As long as my culture of hip hop.
Yeah. We need people on the Grammy board that know that Essence was Song of the Year.
Right.
Like that.
Right. We need to be able, and you want to know what's so funny? We should have our own Grammy board. That's not on the Grammy board.
No, now you're talking. Our own
you
Grammy
feel me?
board.
You could do that. You could do that. You could put together a show. You could put together a show with your own people, and y'all speak on things for yourselves every quarter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And y'all make up who should have this or who should be nominated or who does that. Because if not, there's somebody deciding these things, and we don't even have a name or a face to put to it. Who is deciding these things? You'll never know. Y'all don't care that you don't know who's deciding this.
No, you talking that shit. I totally agree.
Somebody showed me to this. Now, this is the last thing. One of my fans pulled something up, and it says, wait a minute, this artist's song came out, and it's not on Spotify, top Spotify. It's not on top Apple. It's not on top iTunes. It's not on top Amazon. But their radio play is 5 times what Nicki is getting. Why? And then 2-3 weeks from now, they'll tell y'all, look, this song is better than the songs Nicki dropped because see, it's so high on Billboard. So you're telling me that if an artist drops a song and clearly the people are playing it and it's top 10 on Apple for 2 weeks and it's top on Spotify and it's top, the radio can decide if they want to play that song or not. And then it makes that artist looks like, oh yeah, people ain't feeling your stuff. Mm-hmm. What does this all mean? People need to think about it. Because my fans have been talking about this saying, Nicki don't care about being on the radio. Why would an artist not want to be on radio? Use your brains. But now we're going to do this on another show, Joe, and maybe we can do this on live or a Zoom or something. I want to have an open dialogue about this. Now, Billboard just changed the rules again about what's going to count and what's not going to count. Now, to me, and I don't know this, so I'm not bad-mouthing anybody or anything, but to me, it makes me feel like, well, once they realize the fans have the power or the artists have the power again, they do stuff to pull the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
And my fans are like, oh no, you can pay to have your songs on the radio, and you can pay, and then Nicki doesn't want to pay to have her songs on the radio. Can y'all stop talking? What if y'all don't know what the fuck y'all be talking about, people? Please, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Some things are being paid for with cash. Some things are relationships. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that go into this industry that I can't mention for a lot of reasons, right? But just use your brain. If I could pay to have whatever the fuck I wanted, why wouldn't I pay for it?
You would pay for it.
Right. Use your brain. So, but my point is, Joe, you tell me. We all know if the radio plays something over and over and over, you might. How many times have we ended up liking a song we didn't like in the beginning because the
million times
radio played it over and over?
Conditioning.
Right. So now they're telling you, oh, so the fans figured out a way, because you know when me and 6ix9ine went #1, they was mad as hell,
yeah.
Jack.
Yes.
A lot of people were mad. So right before I was about to drop this stuff, it's new rules, new changes, right? Because certain people with a big fan base, they were buying multiple copies and different versions, whatever. And that's fine. I understand that. I'm a fair person. But now what happens when it's naturally with the general public still on the top 10 of Apple, and a song that hasn't touched the top 10 of Apple or the top 10 of Spotify, the top 10 of Amazon, Tidal, whatever. So what does that mean, Joe? You tell me. What's fair? If a song comes out and the general public doesn't go to stream it, you telling me it should be played on the radio more than my song that is being stable in all of the streaming services?
I hate that you have to even ponder these things.
Right, it's that, and I wouldn't, other than my fans feel so, they feel mad, like if they go #2 and not #1, they mad and they thinking, oh no, we gotta, and my fans do so much. I don't want my fans feeling bad about themselves or thinking they didn't go hard enough. You guys went super hard. You guys are fucking amazing.
You guys went as hard as you could. It's
Yes.
just the label people work at the streaming services and Billboard, so they're never going to run in alignment with what the artists and you guys want. Sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah. Recently, you've seen a switch in people who normally have a lot of promotion. When they drop something without that promotion, the songs are not doing what those other songs did. So there's a lot of things that you guys don't understand about the music industry. But don't think for a second any artist would say, oh, I can get radio. I don't want to get radio. Like, come on, stop. And I want to just make sure I say this. Shout out to the radio stations, because actually they've been showing lots of love to the songs that we just dropped. Spotify has been showing lots of love to the songs we just dropped. So you know what? It's a lot. It's just things that you can't control. It is what it is. But we should have open dialogue about what's going on. We should.
I agree. We should continue to have that open dialogue as artists.
Because I would love to hear, one day when we could just talk about this, I would love to hear what you have to say about a lot of this.
Oh, this is my bag. I'm sitting here being quiet because you're going to trigger me. And this was such a great conversation that I want to just remain cool and zen-like. But yeah, in the future, we should definitely do that.
I just want to have one. We could do a live just so that it's open, people can hear it, we're not hiding nothing, whatever, and not bashing anybody. I want to make sure this is not about bashing. Please, y'all gotta stop. No, be happy. I'm very fucking happy. I just had the biggest debut of any female rapper of this year. I just broke more records with these two songs. So first, let's start by giving gratitude. I just want to be thankful too. It's not always about like everything you see that it's about complaining and saying what we could have did this and somebody could have did this. How about we just say thank you that somebody 14 years in their career is debuting on #1 on 4 different charts and #2 on one of the other charts. What difference does it make? Y'all putting more weight on this other chart. I got 4 #1s with Do We Have a Problem, child. It's them charts count. We get a plaque for all them charts. Do you realize that? Right, Joe? My publicist is in the back. I get it. Joe, please send me my plaques for #1 on. For real, I'm serious. Hip hop songs, streaming songs, hip hop R&B songs. they send you a plaque for all of those. So I don't know what the fuck made y'all start thinking that only one chart matters, but no, the fuck it does not. So thank you, Barbs. I love you dearly. But me and Joe Budden, we got to have a real conversation about that. It's a lot of things I want to pick your brain on.
We are, and we will. I can't thank you enough for this, for your candidness, for your honesty, your transparency. Barbs, I told y'all it was all peace and love. Y'all didn't believe me.
No, it definitely is.
But we here.
That's why I came here to do this interview. I didn't go anywhere to do any other interviews. So much has been going on. And it's not outside of the TV stuff. And
I know. I said that. I said all that this morning. I ain't not really doing sit down yet outside of the TV stuff.
That's right. And then there was some people I wanted to do one with in New York, but we haven't traveled there yet. So we'll do a couple of sit downs in New York as well. But I wanted to make sure I did this. Now we'll have a subsequent interview too after some other things happen in the next.
I got a feeling you're going to be pretty active these next few months.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see it. On behalf of all of us, we love you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
I love you, and I love you guys, the crew. Thank you for making this happen. Don't ever feel like
you are taken for granted or that these niggas don't know what time it is, because they do.
Thank you.
And that's what I've got. And look at those nails.
It's not that long. I cut them. I actually don't like nails anymore. I'm about to just have them. I just want to have them like short and no polish.
Is that what motherhood has done?
Yeah.
Got it.
Because I don't want to poke my little pumpkin pie. He's such a cute little chunk.
Also, for me, my son, when he was younger and when she wouldn't cut his nails, he was scratching the shit out of me. And it was
he be scratching the shit out of his father. He be trying to fight his dad, too.
Yeah.
When his dad don't give him what he wants, he goes up to his dad. He's this short. He can only reach up there. He goes like this. And he like does a couple punches and a bite. And my husband be looking at me. I said...
Gotta love the kids. What a bundle of joy.
He's so serious. And but by the way, best thing that ever happened to me.
It feels like it.
My son, love him so much.
It feels like it. You get tired of women saying it, but
I know, but I didn't. I'm
such a whole different woman now.
Well,
who was I before?
But I get it.
I get it.
It's true. The person lived inside of your stomach for 9 months when I would be just in my bed by myself, worrying about everything there was to worry about. He was feeling mama. And, he was giving me his little blessings. And
my last question, because this is a parenting question. Like, sometimes I look at my kid and I see some shit that he only got from me that I have to parent against. Mm-hmm. Have you experienced that?
Of course.
Okay, that's all I got.
Of course. I don't like I don't like his level of determination. And I think it's from his dad too. We're so New York, like that vibe. He is that vibe, and he was born in Beverly Hills.
That sounds great. You don't want that vibe. Let me not get us in trouble.
Joe, it's a lot, Joe.
A Beverly Hills vibe.
But it's a lot. It's a lot. So we gonna have to.
You're New York to your core. I don't give a fuck how long you've been out here.
I know.
Okay.
But with the baby, I don't know. Who does he think he is? He's just like
his parents, y'all. He's y'all.
Yeah, we gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. For the next 2 years, once I could even start putting him on timeout, because right now you can't even put them on timeout. He's looking at you like, what? Wiggling back. I tried to make up a timeout chair.
Oh, you first time parent.
He stayed in that chair for 2 seconds, looked, cracked up laughing, and then slid on out of it, child. Nothing. And then he knows the word dirty, and he purposely goes by the garbage can just so me or his father can say, no, and then he goes, looks, and then he has this wild look in his eyes, and then he goes, and then he runs away, and then he pretends he's saying, that dirty. I said, if you don't sit, show. Yes.
And salute to Dad. Sound like Dad got it under control up there.
Oh, no, he worships Daddy. That's his best friend.
Y'all be hating. Y'all hate when that happens.
I am hating. I carried you in my stomach, and you had to do all this to Mama. Made Mama feet get bigger one size and all this stuff.
Your feet are beautiful. You are beautiful.
Thank you.
Salute to the dads.
How old is your son?
4.
You have an older one though.
20 and 4.
So now with the 4-year-old. Was Terrible 2 actually terrible?
No, the 3. It was 3.
No.
It was a little later. 2 was mad peaceful, and I was bragging. I was like, yo, I ain't seen nothing about terrible 2s. And the parents was like, it turned to 3 and 4 now. And certainly, as he got to 3, he do what the fuck he want. Climb all over the couch. Yo, dog, you gonna hurt yourself. Get off of there. Ah! Flip you the bird.
What?
Yeah, no, they do what they want, boys. And boys are like boys. That's
Yes.
the thing about kids.
He won't
like,
stop. Even when he hurts himself,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
still
yeah.
trying to be rugged. And I said, stop. I cry. Anytime he hurts himself, I cry.
see,
Like a psycho.
Yeah, no, he's at that age, so
Oh, okay.
it's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Nicki Minaj. That is a wrap. Final.
Thank you, Joe. Joe, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for an amazing interview, Joe, too. You did a great job.
No, you were.